We need to go. Now.
Okay, let's get through this. Both of us.
Hello YouTube, in my last video I outlined why Resident Evil 3 is more of a game you should either wait till more is added to it, or if you're a fan of this series, like I am, you might enjoy the one-time pass. Click on the card on the screen to see the full video here. Now the subject I didn't touch on that video, mainly because I felt it deserves its own video, was the poor level design. And boy was that a train wreck. No puns intended. Okay, let's do this. Remakes in general are usually poorly designed and don't adapt well to the originals as well as we would like to remember. And before Resident Evil 7, the Resident Evil games had strayed away from their original horror roots. Now don't get me started on Resident Evil 6 or Operation Raccoon City. Both games were terrible. They should be shoved into the locker of the Resident Evil games that we do not talk about, such as Gaiden, Survivor, Dead Aim, Outbreak Files 1 and 2. They should be shoved into that locker, given to the big fish from Resident Evil 4, and dragged to the bottom of the lake. But then it happened. In January of 2019, Resident Evil 2's remake was released. Now this game blew everyone's expectations of what a remake could be. And then let's fast forward a year to the release of Resident Evil 3, a game that was really hyped up and everybody was excited because, I mean, Resident Evil 2 was mind-blowingly good, and then this. So, the first area you're in is Jill's apartment building and the surrounding streets. This is a tutorial area. It's very linear and mostly designed to get the player familiar to the controls as well as interacting with the environment. It was actually a really good cinematic experience and a good way to introduce Jill, Nemesis, and Carlos, and it was a great way to drop into the game world itself. This gave me hope for the rest of the game, a hope that would soon unfortunately be crushed. The first real area of the game has Jill traveling through the streets of Raccoon City in a much smaller, compact version than the original. This area starts off feeling pretty open world, with many branching pathways that you could possibly take. But on closer inspection, this became more of a choice between taking the shorter path with more zombies, or a longer path with less zombies but more to do. This style really didn't do much for the game at all, and honestly, the 3 times you sprint through this area, each time it got shorter and shorter, with the final sprint being a dead sprint because most of the area is on fire and you're being chased by Nemesis. Now, this style of gameplay offers a very good initial starting gameplay, but very little challenge or anything to do really on your subsequent playthroughs, as it becomes more about running through the game and less about actually discovering new things. Every area after the streets of Raccoon City had become a dead sprint. The sewers, get from the start of the sewers back to the start of the sewers, and climb up into the construction site, which had you running away from Nemesis, who now has a flamethrower. Climb to the top of the building. There's no alternative paths. You just have to climb up. The hospital, once you go through it with Carlos, you don't even have to touch anything in the hospital with Jill. The laboratory was just pick up this item, pick up that item, make a combo item, and you were done. And then you had 2 boss fights back to back, which honestly didn't do much for the game at that point either. The final thing that really bugs me about the level design in this game is that, unlike the other games in this series, you can't go back once you hit a certain point. It was impossible. The ability to backtrack to complete bonus objectives, to complete side things that you may have forgotten or may not even know existed until the near end of the game, you couldn't go back to complete, which caused the game to lose any kind of replayability that it may have at that point. Since it was obvious that the devs of this game used an array during the Nightmare and Inferno modes of this game, it's very well possible that they could have fixed the major problems with the level design being too simplistic, really, by using an array, pre-rendering several different types of buildings, and then using an array to plug in those buildings to randomize the levels and give the players a new experience every time they ran through the game. But anyways, guys, that's all the time I have for this video in particular. If you liked what you saw here, please leave a like, subscribe, let me know you guys enjoyed these videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!
It's so nice to see you.
How are you doing? That helicopter just came out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
I'm in one piece.